the way I had heard it is that there's no way that Deshaun Watson can play early. First off, no one believes he'll get the injunction. But secondly, I don't think he's availed to it if he gets a longer suspension when this happens. I don't know if you guys remember last time I was here, but I talked about in terms of precedent and what Major League Baseball did with Trevor Bauer, right? A guy that had one civil assault allegation, no criminal charges filed. There were photos, there were text messages, things like that helped evidentiary-wise, but 2 full year suspension by Major League Baseball, right? And I used that as an example of what the NFL was possibly looking for in terms of what they expected, the amount of accusations and what that meant. And I thought early on that he was going to be gone for the entirety of this season. So when the 6-game suspension came down from the initial arbitrator, I was shocked, especially with the language that was in her decision, right? Egregious, predatory, no remorse, no accountability, those types of things. And I think that's where, Roger Goodell, now, don't get me wrong, I'm not any bit a fan of Roger Goodell or the NFL, right? I just, I think they are what they are. They're a money-making machine and an institution and a propaganda machine. They're going to do what they do. But there is something to this. There's a double standard, of course, because Robert Kraft got none of this spotlight. Daniel Snyder, for the spotlight outside of it, certainly hasn't gotten it from the NFL. So as players and as a union of the players, you have to be stringent with your backing of one of your players in this moment. This is exactly the reason you are a part of a union, and the NFLPA is supposed to have your back in this. So, we'll see how it plays out, but I wouldn't expect this Cleveland Browns team to see Deshaun Watson anytime this season. And if you do, you're going to have your season's going to be a very difficult one. You have a really good opportunity in those first 4 weeks if Jacoby Brissett can play well enough. But when he's splitting time right now with Deshaun Watson, which I think is absolutely absurd, you got to get the guy ready who's going to be your starter, because those first 5 out of 6 games are winnable. They're not beating these guys, all right? Not beating these guys. But those first 5 out of 6 games, they are winnable for this team because there's enough talent. And if you don't have the guy ready to roll, right? If you're not getting Joshua Dobbs and Josh Rosen ready, because if Jacoby Brissett goes down, those two are going to have to play. So the fact that Deshaun Watson's on the football field taking away first-team reps from Jacoby Brissett right now, I think is putting and doing your club a disservice. And if you're Kevin Stefanski, I mean, the guy talks about it in glowing terms of having Deshaun Watson and what's it mean, but I mean, you gotta Kevin Stefanski's the type of guy that he may love the idea to have Deshaun Watson as his quarterback, but he can't love being put in this position right now. No, when Jimmy Haslam came and said, here you go, deal with this. It's so Cleveland, I hate to say it. There's systemic issues when we talk about teams. I may be a guy that is cliche with that with some of these teams. Until I see something different, I'm always going to feel the same way about something. What do you guys think? Do you think Deshaun plays this year?
I, in a weird way, do. I think it ends up getting doubled to 12 games. So he's back in week, 13 or 14, depending on when their bye week is. And then, he plays the last few games of the season. And then the Browns, Cleveland, they all hope it just kind of goes away and we forget about it as we head into 2023. But where the team could be after 12 games this year, are they 4-8? Are they 500 at best? And then Deshaun comes in to try to win out to get you into the playoffs. I just don't see a situation where Cleveland, who started the offseason with so much hopes, they had better Super Bowl odds than the Bengals, who were in the game last year. I just don't see them being any type of factor this year to contend.
Let's look at that schedule again. The first 6 games I was talking about, right? At Carolina, which is a huge one because it could be against Baker Mayfield, right? The Jets, they're coming off a tough year. Lose Mekhi Becton. That's a winnable game. Pittsburgh, we don't quite know who their quarterback's going to be, right? It's at home. They always play well against Pittsburgh at home.
On Thursday, it's a short week.
Short week. At Atlanta. Atlanta's in rebuilding mode. Against the Chargers, okay, they're not winning that game. And then New England, which is something we'll get into probably next segment. I want to talk about New England a little bit. I mean, the conversation around Mac Jones and the offensive system there is a little bit disturbing. As a Patriots fan, I'm assuming you are. Are you reading tea leaves, or are you're waiting to see it really play out?
Not great, Bob, at the moment.
Not great.
I mean, yeah.
All right, so look at those first 6 weeks, right? 5 of those 6 are winnable, I would say. Now, can they do it with Jacoby Brissett? We'll see. But I guarantee you right now, he should be getting the reps and not Deshaun Watson. So we'll see how it all plays out.